He's a bum. Get him off the field. You've probably heard that on an NFL Sunday, right? Congratulations. You have just witnessed what I call relative skill gap. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and relative skill gap is something that I just completely made up off the top of my head. It's not an actual phrase, but the reason I call it a phrase is because it points to something very real. On any given Sunday, you can sit in a bar with any one of your friends, any one of them. Pick one of them. Observe the things they say about NFL players, particularly NFL players who are having a bad day. They'll say some combination of, he's a bum, I can't believe he did that, or I could probably do that. This is called the relative skill gap, in my head at least. That's what it's called. And what they're falling prey to is the idea that, you know what, they make it look so simple. And it must be simple. Therefore, I could probably do that. It's a little bit like watching, say, I don't know, Formula One racing. When you watch Formula One racing, it's 75 laps, right? It's 75 laps of just driving. You think to yourself, some of us, me included, oh man, I could probably do it. I know how to drive. I could do that. Or maybe I wouldn't win, but I could drive. I could at least be in the circuit. The truth is, the worst NFL player, the worst Formula One driver, is much, much better at it than you are. We might acknowledge this truth sort of subconsciously, right? We might know on some level that we are not that good at whatever they're doing. We might know it, but it doesn't come to the surface. Well, there's a couple of reasons that we can think of. One simply being, and I think the broadest reason, is that a lot of the things that we watch and enjoy are things we know a little bit about. For example, I enjoy football a lot. I've said it before on this channel, I love the Buffalo Bills. Huge fan of the Buffalo Bills. Because of that, I study a little bit about the sport. I know a lot about the sport. When I watch a cornerback play, corner, not quarter, cornerback is the defensive back, guarding a receiver, I watch him and I know what good cornerback play looks like. The thing to be careful of is knowing what good cornerback play looks like versus thinking that I could execute good cornerback play. I never got above playing my sophomore year of high school. That's it. And I got the crap kicked out of me. Professional athletes, even professional athletes who are really, really bad, were really, really good high school athletes. Were really, really good college athletes. Then they got to the NFL and started playing with the fastest, strongest, hardest hitting men in the room, and maybe weren't as good as the rest of them. Or maybe they were having a bad day. A wide receiver sometimes, they will just take the cake from you. You're on defense, you're playing reactionary. So you know what? Let's say even in your head, you're like, oh yeah, I could cut them some slack. But a wide receiver, they have to know the play. They just have to know the route to run. That's the easiest job in the world. Hold your horses there, buddy. A wide receiver coming off the line of scrimmage has to know where the cornerback is lined up on them, based on where the cornerback is lined up on them, what coverage he's going to be in, and if that coverage changes post-snap, he has to react to that. Meaning, if they're in a man coverage, he has to run his route to beat the cornerback, and not just run his route. He has to run his route in a specific way so that when he turns to face the quarterback, his hands are up, his numbers are showing. He has to make as easy of a target as possible for the quarterback. And if they're in man coverage, he's got to do that, and he's got to do that while there's a guy draped over him, a guy who can run just as fast as him, and a guy who maybe even has a better look at the ball because his eyes are on the quarterback. If they're suddenly in zone, he's got to think to himself, okay, where is the soft spot in the zone where I can cut off my route and I can sit into the zone and be ready for my quarterback? Well, okay, you might say, sure, maybe I can't play wide receiver. That sounds a little complicated and sounds a little complex. But blocking a guy, right? Offensive line. Those big dummies, they've got it so easy. Those big offensive linemen, they're just big and fat, and all they do is they eat all the time, and then they just block people, right? They just block people. I could do that, no problem. I could just get bigger and fatter, and I could block people, right? Wrong. Offensive linemen are some of the most technically sound athletes in the entire world. Why is that? Well, because the people they're going up against are some of the most technically sound athletes in the world. Let's take left tackle as a really good example. Now, people who know ball know that the left tackle is probably one of the highest paid guys on the team because he protects what is usually the blind side of the quarterback, the side of the quarterback where, I'll get to it in a minute, but the quarterback literally cannot see it. And he's typically going up against a defensive end who wants blood, like is going to go for the quarterback's head. So what does he do, or what does he have to know how to do? Well, number one, he has to know how to align his split such that he has the advantage over a guy who is facing forward. That's the other thing I should mention. Offensive linemen, they're facing with their backs to the ball when the ball is snapped. The linemen can't see what their quarterback is doing. They just have to hit the offensive lineman or defensive. But because of that, it puts them at a little bit of a weight disadvantage, particularly in pass protection. Offensive linemen will always say they love run blocking because they get to move forward, right? They get to run forward and at least engage. In pass protection, they have to engage, but they also have to move backward. They can't go too far forward. They're only allowed a yard down the field. So when an offensive lineman fires off after the ball is snapped, he's got to kick backwards. If you watch Deion Dawkins, he's a really good example. He's got to kick backwards, keep ahead of the defensive lineman, not fall prey to an inside rush, be on the lookout for a defensive lineman stunt, trick, play, whatever they're going to do. And on top of that, he's got to keep his quarterback upright. And if his quarterback starts moving, like, say, Josh Allen, he's got to adjust to what his quarterback is doing. And I'm not even getting into the schemes, the protections, pulling guards, pulling centers. I'm not even getting into any of that yet. Okay, well, what about tight ends? Tight ends, they're a blend between a wide receiver and an offensive lineman. That means you have to know everything a wide receiver knows and everything an offensive lineman knows. And as I've just detailed to you, that's quite a few things. And knowing all of the things that I have just listed doesn't matter a lick if you can't keep up athletically. Most of us on our couch at home, we cannot keep up athletically. Those guys could blow us out of the water. We could play pickup basketball with them and they would blow us out of the water. Half the time, with a lot of quarterbacks, we could probably play chess with them. They would blow us out of the water. I say all of this, and the Formula One drivers, as I mentioned before, it's far more than just driving. It's reaction. It's fitness. It's everything to get to that Sunday of racing. Baseball players, basketball players, same thing. Get caught a lot making fun of WNBA players. I do. I see them miss layups all the time, even the really, really good ones. And then I have to remind myself, Nick, a really, really good shot percentage in the NBA is like 30%. The best shooters in the world shoot 30%. Now that can be taken as motivational for sure. Oh, 30%. Okay. But again, if they were going up against you at home, they're probably shooting closer to 90, right? And they might miss a couple shots just because they're screwing around. I say all this to say, as we come into the holiday season, as you're watching sports, and you're going to be watching a lot of sports, and you're going to be watching a lot of sports on Christmas, when these athletes have to literally leave their families and go bash their brains in for our entertainment, maybe be a little charitable as you watch. Maybe instead of saying, wow, what a bum, I can't believe he screwed up that play, maybe be better than the announcers on TV, maybe be better than the analysts, and say, wow, that guy made a really good play on the other side. And be curious about where the guy who screwed up went wrong. As they say in Ted Lasso, be curious. And if you're curious, who knows? You might just learn something. Then again, what do I know? I'm still doing a 10-minute podcast after, years. So I hope you enjoyed this. We're coming into the holiday season. We probably won't be filming for a couple of weeks because we'll be on vacation, but check out our prior content. It's on YouTube and Rumble. Enjoy it. Love it. Come back and we'll see you in the new year. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.